We are back 2 pods in 1 week, Mitch. How amazing is this? We're back with our Chiefs game review. Chiefs swiftly dispatched. Do you like what I did there? Didn't end in a love story. We did it in our style. There was no bad blood. There you go. Boom. 3 song titles in one. We're going to give you... We're going to go through some...
This is going to be a long pod.
This is going to be a hard listen for some people, unless you're a Swiftie, in which case you might go, we're going to go through some news that's just come out. We're going to be looking at the game review, our highlights. We've got our winners and losers. We're also going to be looking ahead to the Green Bay Packers joint practice and game. And to end with, because we are a community podcast, we have our Discord member musings and your questions and your comments, which we will be putting up on the screen. We'll have a little chat about, but that'll be right after this intro. There we go. We are back again. Thanks to everyone for joining. Please don't forget to hit that like button. And if you are new to the pod and you've been brought in by the fantastic graphics and, maybe you caught wind of us, by all means, feel free. You can like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, stay up to date. We're going to be coming at you weekly now. And this week's been a treat because it's been 2 in 1. But yeah, Mitch, shall we get talking about the Chiefs being swiftly dispatched? But first, obviously, we've got some news. I just love that graphic. Big news coming out. Chenna has been cleared to practice again. What do we think of this? Because I just put in the Discord, I have reservations. But I'd like to know everyone else's view.
You have reservations? Do you want to breach those first? What is this?
I've got reservations because Chenna was an outstanding player for us. He may still be an outstanding player, but he has been out of the game with various injuries for so long. I question if he's going to be as effective. And I really don't want that to be a question. I want him to come back, fire on all cylinders and be the Chenna that we know and love. But he's going to have to make it back into a starting rotation. He's still got to get some football back under his belt. And yeah, I love Chenna, but I'm just skeptical, slightly apprehensive.
Okay, so you're skeptical about what kind of impact he can have and how he gets back in. Yeah.
And if he,
and getting enough snaps. Yeah, and does he get enough snaps to get back up to the playing speed that he's played at before when he was a player that got the majority of the snaps off the edge? Yeah, I take that point. For me, we've done well without him. So him coming back in as a senior player off the edge in that group, he'll have an impact just with being an older player, a more experienced head in that young group anyway. So I think he brings something just by being suited up on game day with the likes of Maffei and Hall. Some of the guys we've picked up, the UDFAs, like maybe Ivy or Seth Coleman if he makes the roster. There are players in there that will benefit from having him on the sideline with them. I think it's all upside because if he comes in and balls out and improves the starting lineup, happy days. And if he's there as a rotational experienced addition, happy days. And if he gets injured and he ends up getting cut, or if he finishes the season on PUP and someone else comes in and gets a chance, that in itself is good. So I'm just happy that someone we're paying is available.
Here's another bit of news. Hendrickson has just gone on the trade block. What if Chenna could be a valuable trade piece in that?
I don't think he'll ever be a valuable trade piece anymore.
Well, but I'm just sort of it's hyperbole. But I'm thinking, if you're the Bengals and you are going to trade away Trey Hendrickson, you're going to want an edge rusher in return. And if we look at our roster, in my opinion, it'd be Chenna, because you can go, we will give you a veteran who has now been cleared to play. You've seen what he did for us when he was fit. He's just been really unfortunate with injuries. So we'll take your vet, you take ours, which will be less of a cap hit for you, which will be much more appetizing. Or we unfortunately go, we'll take Henderson, you have Mafe. And some picks.
Yeah, I think Chenna will be a factor in any trade that we make with the Bengals if we do decide to pursue Trey Hendrickson. But I don't think it would be as a trade piece. I think it would be Mafe or Hall go as part of the trade, and Chenna gets more snaps as a result, and we are free of a contract renewal that is creeping up free the player. So I think he is a piece within that, but he's not a trade piece. I just don't think that anyone wants to receive a player that's been banged up for so long as part of a trade when you not only are trading a star edge rusher, it is the league's premium edge rusher. I just don't think
I think it's just one of those, it just sweetens the deal, doesn't it? So it's going to be a look, we'll take this player off your hands that he doesn't want to be on your team anymore. You've reached a complete impasse where you can't agree on terms. And we will give you either a young pass rusher in Mafe. I don't want to see Derek Hall leave. I think he's a fantastic player. But if you could say, we'll either give you Mafe to fill that void, or we'll give you these picks and we'll give you Chenna, who has just come back fit. He's now allowed to practice again, so he'll be back up to playing speed soon. You can put him straight in a new system that he's got to learn, and you'll have an experienced veteran who you know can do the job. That for me would be a bit more appetizing, but that's just me.
No, I like it. I'm actually just going to ask ChatGPT what it thinks the Bengals want for Trey Hendrickson, just to see, because they ChatGPT usually nails it. Genuinely nails it with like trade, because it uses all the trade charts and stuff. So it's pretty good. So let me just ask.
Other AI search engines are available. So.
True. Like your beer the other day, we don't have a deal with Madrid, so other beers are available.
Any beer would be good, but yeah, that's kind of where my head is. I mean, if we're looking to have premium players, I mean, we've got the cap room. You know, he'd probably look at he'd probably look at the way the Seahawks are trending and go, I could make a real difference there. I think John Schneider has already had that conversation with Mike McDonald. It was one of those, as soon as it came on, there was probably a text or a call that went straight in, or it was called into his office and was like, what do you think? Add some superstar edge rushing power to a D-line, which has already got some absolute superstars in there.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, ChatGPT, other search engines and AI, searches are available, as you say. They're saying most likely a first-round pick or top day 2 compensation, high second-round pick with a starting edge rusher. So second-round pick and Boye Mafe, and then we pay him $30 million a year plus. It's scary, isn't it? It's a lot of money.
It is, but if you're going to get superstar talent, you've got to pay him super money. And just think of the impact he could have rushing off the edge with Hall on the other side, and then you've got you've got Lawrence, you've got a plethora of others that we can rotate in. So there you go. That's what we'll put it as. I can see people in the chat already. I'm pretty sure Jonas has just put hell no.
Hell no. Yeah. I want to explore that. Jonas, why hell no? Give us your breakdown. Why are you so against? Is that just the cost, or is it the play?
Gary's put, I'm not really interested in Henderson, too old for such an expensive price.
He's going to the Niners.
Oh God, just imagine. But this is the thing, it's one of those, like, if you don't go in, the Niners, having cut a ridiculous amount of superstar talent will trade it away or just left going free agency, they're going to look at it and go, we could take that. We take that hit and have Bosa and Hendrickson rushing off the edge, which would be a nightmare.
Yeah, it would.
Oh, there you go. And Jonas isn't answering the question, so we'll get into the Discord later.
Dodging.
Yeah,
he's dodging.
And speaking of which, oh, he has. Speaking of which, if anyone wants to join the Discord, Mitch has put the link in the comments down here. I think it is on YouTube. By all means, you can join. It's completely free. Join us and Seahawks fans from around the world, and we'll talk Hawks when we're not on the pod. We have our Discord member musings, so if you ask your questions in the Discord, they will be put up on here as well at the end of the show, and we can have a chat about them. So before I click on to anything else, no, that's it. Jonas, you're typing too slowly, my friend. Let's get on to the game. And if Jonas comes back with anything, we can always address it at the end. So, Chiefs swiftly dispatched by the Seahawks. And I just think this was a heck of a game. Before we go any further, just want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Flying V Vintage Sports Clothing. They are making a concerted effort now to get as much Seattle-based sports vintage clothing in there as possible at fantastic prices, UK-based. You can go onto their website, which is also in the links down below, as well as any other way you want to support us, like buy us a coffee or anything like that. And you can also use our code 12Talk to get 20% off your order. There you go. Bargain.
Nice.
But here we go. 33-16. The Seahawks beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, obviously, we have to caveat this in the fact Patrick Mahomes, did he play at all? Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice isn't going to be playing for a little while anyway. But it was a hell of a performance. There's no way you can get around it. I mean, I think start to finish. I mean, we'll discuss some of the losers in this as to what we thought was a bit of a downside. But Mitch, what were your thoughts on this game as a whole?
Well, I'd say first off, that probably our two highest ranked players on our roster currently, Tank Lawrence and Leonard Williams, were also left out. So it wasn't just the Chiefs that had star players not playing. You could argue our best and most accomplished players weren't playing either. And even our starters played a single drive or at best a quarter. So I don't really take too much away from the quality that was out there from either side. I think for 75-80% of that game, it was the same caliber of players. But I think what you need to really understand about that Kansas City Chiefs team is that because they've been in consecutive Super Bowls, there's a lot of players they've had to renew to keep their star quality to keep contending, which inevitably means you end up drafting less, trading more, spending more money in free agency to get veteran quality rather than relying on rookies. So they will have far less depth down their depth chart or quality on their depth chart than we will. We're in a rebuild. They are trying to stay at the top. Eventually the well runs dry and you can't afford injuries because 75 to 80% of your cap is spent on your starting players. So that showed up in a big way when they rested some starters, I think.
Yeah.
And it showed last year. But by the time they got to the Super Bowl, they'd had so many injuries to starting players that their depth got found out in a big way. So, 49er-ish kind of clinging on to the push for a Super Bowl situation for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think the depth is shocking. I mean, like you said, it pretty showed in the Super Bowl where they had a guard playing at left tackle and just completely, it showed massively. I think this, from my point of view, was a really good show of the depth that we have as a squad now. This roster has got depth all over the place. I mean, you look at like Peely, with his safety. I mean, he's not an all winners or losers, but he could well be. It's an honourable mention. I'll put it in there now. And that just shows that even without starting nose tackle in there, we have nose tackles that can still do the job. You look at the completion percentages. I mean, you're going to say about that as well, but the completion percentages from the quarterbacks, it goes to show that this Kubiak scheme now works against most defenses where we rely on the run, stay run heavy, give quarterbacks easy throws to get through with easy reads and progressions, and the completion percentages are high with a high degree of efficiency and effectiveness. And that is what really did it for me. I'm still waiting in preseason to see the defense really show out. Just have like a game against the Packers, which we'll look at later, where we've got multiple sacks, maybe a pick or two, and it really starts coming together. But I think the more we play the starters, that might come. And for anyone joining us, if you're in the comments, I do apologise. I seem to have started a waterfall of comments about my water bottle.
There is a water fight going on in the chat, and I'm enjoying it.
That's it. We're not just here about the Seahawks or American football. We're all about
reviewing mineral water.
Mineral and spring water. It's Watergate, as Cara says.
Watergate, yeah.
Right. Keep your questions coming in, by the way, because we will get to them at the end. We might address a few of them during this pod. So, all in all, I think a very comprehensive win. I think the fact that the Chiefs didn't really look to do much. Their points came from the punt return, which we're going to get to that because special teams is a concern. But yeah, just seeing the way that the team now, 2 games of preseason in, is starting to click offensively, and I thought it'd be the other way around. I thought the defense would be the ones that had save us in these games, and it'd take a bit more time for the offense to get going. I think it's just been absolutely fantastic to see. So, should we talk some highlights? What were your highlights of this game, Mitch?
Well, you mentioned Peely and the safety earlier on, or just now, really.
Yeah.
I think that play from Peely was absolutely phenomenal. Like, genuinely, that's veteran. That looked like a veteran top 5 nose tackle in the league caliber, play. It really was incredibly impressive and extremely impactful. We were already ahead in the game. They had just scored, and we'd forced a safety, took the 2 points, and got the ball back. So it was a brilliant display on that play. So I think that's worth mentioning. It had big bearing on the game, and it was great to see a player getting an opportunity. Because all preseason we've heard that he's impressing in camp. And then in the 2 games he's played in, he's looked good. He's also now got something on the stat sheet that kind of looks great as well.
Yeah, from Hawksville, watching Peter literally duck under 2 linemen was a great move. For a man that big to be able to get that low and just to completely explode out of his stance under there, it was so good to see. And it's that level of athleticism. I can't even speak today. Which bodes well for a podcast, doesn't it? But yeah, that level of athleticism from a nose tackle is what we need, especially with Jonathan Hankins we're not informed as to what's happening there. Having someone like that on the roster would be perfect. And, that's now become a 2-horse race with Peely and Bohanna, but Peely seems to be showing out a little bit more. That was a massive highlight for me. I've gone into a big rabbit hole of watching film breakdown on TikTok and YouTube and any other form of social media I can digest about the Seahawks run game running behind Gray Zabel, and Gray Zabel just looking like a veteran already. The way he's getting through some of these blocks, we're talking about explosiveness from Peely, straight from his stance. Gray Zabel, the way he explodes into a player, there's one highlight where you see how low he gets underneath the D lineman, and he manages to readjust to get even lower as well. And he's 6'5". For him to be the make himself so compact on that D line, if that is the way that we're going to run it, absolutely fine. But we do, you need to have a sense of trepidation there about you can't just run it Gray Zabel's side every time. But seeing the way this D line is the O line's holding up now to really allow the run game to get going and give all of these running backs a solid chance to make some positive yards and really make a name for himself this preseason has been brilliant. That's been my highlight so far. It's just been the O-line in general. I think this is something we've all had reservations about. We've all had our qualms with how we drafted it, how we signed it, and I think this is, you're going to talk about one of your players here on your winners, like Anthony Bradford. Everyone was skeptical about him because he was a large human being who, I think it might have been Hawk blogger Brian, who said he ate himself out of the starting role. And he's gone away, worked his butt off, lost that weight, put on some good weight via muscle, and he looks like a completely different player. We all thought it was going to be Christian Haynes at right guard because a zone run scheme was what he played in college and he should be suited for this. But Bradford's come in, and I don't think you're going to displace him now. It's just been fantastic to see. I think the Charbonnet touchdown, where he took that right up, was it the B gap, and just he went. And again, that was Zabel who came from his left guard position all the way across and put on a fantastic block just to get Charbonnet running. Brilliant. And shall we just mention Jake Bobo whilst we're here? Jake Bobo, just more Bobo again.
Did you have him on your winners list?
Not for this week. Did I have him last week? No. I didn't have him last week.
Because I felt like it was low-hanging fruit, so I didn't do it.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But we do have to give him a mention. Okay, well, I'll give him a mention here anyway, because we're talking about our favourite moments in the game. I thought the screen pass to Jake Bobo was so well executed, but still left Jake Bobo so much work to do, in open field. And what he did so well. And his second touchdown again was a completely different set of skills that he absolutely smashed as well. This isn't a guy who sees 10 to 12 targets before a red zone target per game. When he gets targeted, he may not have been targeted for 30 minutes at a time. He needs to be reliable every time he gets targeted. And that's a difficult ask when you're not repeatedly being involved as a target. But he seems to just do it every time. He goes, his motor runs red hot, even though it's only on for 20 seconds. It's like,
that's what you know what I mean? In a game
amazing.
Like football, you don't need to have, as a rugby player, I don't know, Ben and probably Gary will attest to this, your motor needs to be going for 80 minutes. And if your engine allows you a 20-second burst and then a rest, but that 20 seconds is so impactful, perfect. And he seems to show up at the right time. He's just a reliable pair of hands. He's a fantastic run blocker. You saw him get up and he took that ball over the cornerback's head as well, mossed him basically. What more can you want? If he's going to be wide receiver 4 on this team, more than happy with that. For everything he offers, I am more than happy with that. And if he's learning from someone like Cooper Kupp as well, who isn't the fastest, he's made a career from getting in and out of his breaks, from being a reliable set of hands, for having a decent sort of, yak, fine. If that's going to be Jake Bobo's trajectory, more than happy with it.
It's staying locked in the game as well, and the concentration levels. When you're only going to see targets 2 or 3 times in a game, and they're going to be in the red zone, you can't afford to go, oh, do you know what? I've dropped that, but I haven't seen the ball for 30 minutes. It came, hands were cold, it's raining, all those kind of excuses you could come out with. None of them from him. Give me a difficult catch once every 30 minutes and I'll make it for you and put the points up.
Bosh, done. It's lovely. I mean, Jay Smith in the comments, I've just put him up there. He said more Bobo, and he said both Bobo's TD catches were phenomenal. And Danny has said, punt returner now too.
Yeah, I enjoyed seeing that.
Can you put him anywhere else to make him effective? No, there's so much. He does the basics really well, which, in my opinion, if you're going to be a wide receiver 4, is what you need. You don't need electric speed. You don't need to be 6'8". You don't need to have hands like D-Hop or anything. You need to be good or great at the basics to be able to offer that comfort blanket. Someone, it's like an extra tight end. You're a comfort blanket. That screen pass was a prime example. There's a lot of wide receivers that wouldn't have been able to take that for a touchdown, but he did.
I agree.
So yeah, they were some of my highlights. Have you got any more highlights from that game, Mitch?
Let me have a think. I'm trying to think of defensive highlights. There weren't a huge amount. We had some sacks, but they were late in the game. We had quite. No, do you know what? I think we've talked about the Charbonnet rushing touchdown. We've talked about the Bobo 2 touchdowns. I would like to. Well, I'm going to get onto it. Actually, the things I've got left to say, I can cover in my winners
for your winners and losers. Yeah. Should we get onto winners and losers? I need to get like a catchy theme tune or something emblazoned on the screen for our winners and losers segment. We're going to be doing this every single week now because we think it's something quite valuable in this, and it really lets you into our psyche on how this team's going. Mitch, would you like to start with your first winner, sir?
Yeah, I want to shout out Seth Coleman. There's a few undrafted free agents vying for a position on the edge in this team at the moment. Ivy has done really well, especially in run defense. Connor O'Toole got the sack in the last game. This was Seth Coleman's game. He got a sack and a half. He was a real presence. He provided plenty of pressure in the game as well. And 6'5" defensive end / outside linebackers. They are so useful when they can play both positions. He's been really, really good. So I'm kind of intrigued to see what he can put on the tape against the Packers next week. But I just thought he really provided, that when you get to the third or fourth quarter and you're ahead in a game, what you really want to see is your edge rushers not taking their foot off the accelerator. You really want to get the hammer down and start harassing that quarterback while they're trying to chase the game, while they're having to hold the ball to make longer throws. You want to see your edge rushers get after the quarterback, and that's exactly what he did. He was relentless. So I was really, really impressed.
Total stats per game: 4 total tackles, 3 solo tackles, 1.5 sacks, 1 TFL, and 2 QB hits.
It's really good. Really good.
What a gem to pull out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'll go for mine, and it was a toss-up for me. I had to pick a running back because of how well the run game's going, and the running back I picked had 5 carries. He went for 49 yards with an average of 9.8 yards per carry, with his longest rush being 30 yards. Oh, and let's not forget as well his kick return. So he had 3 of them for a total of 73 yards. That's 24.3 yards per return. So the longest was 26. George Halani, come on down. That man is playing himself onto that 53-man roster. Like we said it in the last pod, I think every time he's getting the opportunity, he's just showing why, Ashton Genty was his understudy whilst he was there. He's been brilliant. It's been absolutely fantastic. It's like with my boy Kenny McIntosh, being out for the season, having someone like Halani go, this is my chance to shine. He has come in and he has shone. So he's my first winner. I think he's nailed on for this 53 now. I think it's now going to be between the other rushers or the other running backs for the 4 we're going to keep. Damian Martinez or your boy Jacardia Wright, who again had a great game.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to watch him again. There's a moth flying around my room.
Just very quickly from if Halani isn't in the 53, I want the coaches to pass a drug test. Yeah, Yeah,
I agree with that at this point. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I thought Jacardia Wright again put some good stuff on tape. I really can see Jacardia Wright missing out and hitting the practice squad, but he's giving them some headaches ahead of the roster cut down to 53.
Well, it's safe to say that Anthony Tyus, the third, isn't going to get him.
Who also has been. He's also been passable. He wasn't as good in this game as he was in the previous
11 carries, 24 yards, 2.2 yards per carry.
But he got on the field to tote the rock with the third string O-line. He was having contact made with him behind the line far more than the other running backs. So there is a level of caveat to those stats. But he was extremely good in the previous game. So I agree with you that he won't get a shot at this roster at this point because Jacardia Wright isn't going to either, or has got more chance, but still won't. Yeah. And Halani will make this roster, and Martinez will probably make this roster. So it's such a competitive room, and they've done so well. It's been great to watch them in the preseason.
Yeah, it has. Keep your comments and questions coming in because I've starred quite a few of them. So we're going to have a large segment at the end for this. So who was your second winner?
Highland Spring Water. No, I'm joking.
Well, the spring waters are available.
I was just thinking about all the comments about the water and whether you'd starred any of those. No, my second winner was Bradford. I don't know, we've touched on it in the comments already about the body transformation. I think what's really good is that change of shape and that improved level of fitness, and the redistribution of where that mass is has meant he can get up to the second level and really be a presence blocking there. I think he's a better fit now for this roster. I've referred to him probably unfairly as a square peg in a round hole in this offense, but I was acknowledging the version of Bradford we've seen for the last two seasons, and I didn't give him credit for being driven enough and versatile enough to make the changes that you see on screen. With Bradford losing 20 pounds, he was ordered to fit into the new zone blocking scheme. Instead of anchoring in tight space, he has to get to spots on time. Exactly that. He needs to be mobile enough to get up to the next level, to block, to screen, and to enable this run scheme to work. So,
wasted talent. Thank you for those comments. His newfound mobility is paying off in spades. Completely agree. I think we were quite harsh on Bradford last year, and I'm pretty sure we had him on the bubble as well when we did our Bubble Trouble pod. You can find that in our previous podcast, and we said we don't know if he's going to fit into this scheme, and I think he's proved us wrong with this. He's gone away. He's worked hard. He's managed to get himself into this team, and it's going to be hard to displace him from the starting lineup. Sorry, Mitch, just throwing in some German into the comments.
Terrible. Just to get some terrible German.
Mein Lieblingswasser ist Evian.
Mein Lieblingswasser ist Evian.
Right. So my second winner, Jalen Sundell. Now there are a lot of comments that were up here about Sundell, so I'm just going to get through those now. Jalen Sundell won the off-season strength and conditioning award throughout the whole of the O-line. He has played during college all across the O-line. We had him playing at guard. He's been able to play. I think he played a couple of snaps at tackle last year. We've put him in at center, and my God, what a difference it's made having him. I have always been a big supporter of Oluolu because he's an award-winning center throughout college, came from a fantastic program in Michigan. But I don't know if he's going to be fit enough or mobile enough. He's cerebral enough in possibly a gap scheme, but I think in this outside zone scheme, I don't think he's going to be fit enough or quick enough to be able to do what Sundell does. And there were some of these comments that I started about Sundell, and I absolutely could not agree more.
Jonas,
so
yeah.
About the centre situation, Sundell is getting a lot of reps and plays well. Olu was injured. So do you think it is NDSU Bisons on the O-line? I think it is the college roommates who will be anchoring that O-line. And I think it's earned. It's not just one of those things where it's, we'll put him in there because Olu is injured. I think Sundell has earned it. He has been absolutely outstanding. And you couldn't ask for more. His athleticism, his power, he's savvy enough. The communication between the O-line seems to be on point. And as Hawkschool says, Sundell has the attitude to succeed. 100%.
I agree.
So he's my second winner.
Nice. And I think now, if you look through this roster, outside of quarterback and the defensive line room, there's not a lot of rooms that are set in terms of their depth chart. The running back room, there's players in there that are jostling for position from RB3 down. The wide receiver room, we're not sure how that's going to shake out. As you go through this roster, and the tight end room, who gets more targets, Arroyo or Barner? Does Brady Russell factor in as a backup fullback, or is that tight end targets as well? Salbert as well, had another good game.
I can see us keeping him now. I really can. I think Brady Russell, as much as people love him, might be a bubble candidate.
I think the fact that he's backing up two positions is of high value. Also, a backup long snapper now as well. The more you can do.
Quick shout out to Herbicide. Welcome back in. It's been a long time, mate. I give all credit to Kubiak and Benton. I think, that the coaching, and Gary said this in an earlier comment, and we've said it on the pod multiple times. Good coaching brings out the best in the best players. And I think they've got it right now. They've got experienced coaches who know what scheme they're playing and how to coach that. And that is bringing out the best in some of these players. And let's face it, even if you are the worst player in the NFL, you're still the best player in any amateur football league, or maybe even the CFL. You never know. So if he's getting someone like Sundell's play the way he is, who was good anyway, he's got Anthony Bradford playing the way he is. Perfect. Right, let's get through our winners and losers before we get onto the Packers game. So, who was your final winner?
My final winner is Derek Young, and I think there won't be many fans surprised to hear me mention him. I think he topped the receiving stats on the night in terms of yards carries average. Some of the receptions he made that weren't easy, and he maximized his return when targeted as well. Mm-hmm. Also, on a night when our special teams were a blotch on the record, it was crap. Yeah, the special teams were rubbish. He is an experienced gunner in special teams as well. I think Derek Young just showcased a lot of the things that have kept him on this roster over the years. Last night, so I thought he looked superb, and I was really pleased to see it because he's a player I really like.
Yeah, like it. My final one, after I slated him and put him in the losers column last week, is Drew Lock. And what would you say? It was 157 passer rating. So he was 10 from 12, 129 yards, with an average of 10.8, 2 TDs.
Yeah, very good.
That is how quarterback friendly the scheme is. If you can make Drew Lock look that clear and concise, and he's an experienced QB, and we were all saying, he could be a trade candidate, but I think he just showed what the experience does there. He's had experience as a starter. He's backed up. He's now coming to the fore knowing that he is the first backup. I think he's really showing that. I think in a pinch, if, God forbid, Sam Darnold does go down and Drew Lock steps in, he can operate this offense. So I'll give him his flowers this week. as like the last pod. But yeah, I'll put him in there because credit where credit's due. I like to be fair, firm but fair.
Nice. No, I agree. I do agree.
Do we go on to the losers now?
Is that a car alarm outside your house? Gone.
It is. I don't know. I don't live on like a crime-ridden street, but someone's car alarm goes off if a cat brushes past it. If the wind goes past like a gentle breeze, it goes off. But that also shows just how good my mic is.
Yeah, that is true. So on to the losers. Yeah.
Let's go on to the anti-heroes.
Yeah.
The losers. First and foremost, Jay Harbaugh. I'm lumping them both together. Jay Harbaugh and these special teams. That special teams unit on kick return was woeful. The fact that we got rescued by Jason Myers on one kick return says a lot. It was the worst form tackle I've ever seen in my life because it was just like a dive and hope. But the whole unit just they seem to be, they don't seem to know how to converge on the space. They spread themselves out, leaving massive gaps, and they don't actually converge on a runner. It's like just stay in your lane. That's it. Stay in your lane, and if that lane means that you're 10 yards away from the person next to you, doesn't matter. You have to make those 10 yards up. That's not how it should work at all. I think there is I don't want to say Jay Harbaugh is a Nepo hire, but he strikes me more and more like a Nepo hire. Don't worry, I'll give him a job. Yeah, don't worry, boys. I've got your boy. Something needs to be done.
Yeah, well, for what it's worth, I see the biggest issue with the special teams in the return game, or defending the return game in special teams, mostly is lane discipline, and secondly, it's being accountable for your lane. And I think when you're in preseason and these guys that are charging down the returner, those players are often trying to make a name for themselves, so they want to be the one making the tackle. But that greed to get the name up in lights and get that time on camera, celebrating a big stop on special teams, means they get a bit greedy and they lose their lane discipline because they're chasing that big moment. When actually, getting greedy when someone's returning the ball leaves a gap somewhere. Any savvy returner with a good bit of ball, a good bit of sort of vision for where they're going to carry the ball to, will spot the space you left behind getting greedy. So that does still come back to Jay Harbaugh because he needs to be instilling that in these players. And
Jay, the reason I wouldn't call it a Nepo hire is because I'd like to think that Mike McDonald's got more substance to himself than just bringing in Jay Harbaugh as a favour to his dad's. And then your guys' comments are making the show right now. By the way, the coaches don't want Myers making that preseason tackle. Not a chance. No one wants it during the regular season. Before we go on to the next loser, because loads of people have been saying this, so shall we just put an extra winner, honourable mention, the Seattle Shove from Herbicide. I like that. We're dubbing that the Seattle Shove, and then wasted talent. Why is no one talking about the Milrow Tush Push? We got a short yardage weapon, folks. Yeah. No, honourable mention. I'm going to put that in there because it was great to see. It baffles me that since it hasn't been outlawed from the game, not many other people have used it. But we've now found a great use for Jalen Milrow. Just hopefully he doesn't get injured doing it, because that would be a waste of his talent. Anyway, back onto the losers. Mitch, you've got the last two.
Well, I've got Jerick Reed the second here.
Boy.
And it's not because he did anything bad. It's not because there's any good reason to sit here and say that, he came out of that game a loser. What I actually feel is that he is a loser in terms of there being just an awful lot of talent ahead of him right now, and he's only really seeing the field in the fourth quarter of preseason games, which to me signals that he is right down the bottom of the depth chart in terms of where he factors in. And every time we've done a roster prediction, we try and find a way to get him onto the roster. I don't think the coaching staff in Seattle see him as someone that's making this roster, and that makes him a loser at this point.
Sad,
but we still love him.
I had high hopes. Yeah, I had really high hopes for him. But
Yeah.
I think, like I said, he's. I do just think when you look at the size and speed of the safety room, I think he is the massive outlier there. Right, go on. Your last loser.
DeAnthony Bell, for the reasons that we've stated when we talked about lane discipline and trying to make a name for themselves. DeAnthony Bell was overly aggressive on special teams, and he was overly aggressive in his pursuit and run fits on multiple occasions when playing on the D as well. Not particularly pleased with DeAnthony Bell. He's got big plays in him. Don't get me wrong, but there'll be time if he plays like that in the regular season, he will be culpable for quite a lot of high-profile mistakes.
Yeah, there's a lot of Reed love being better than Bell in the comments, and we get it.
Yeah.
We love him, but do the coaches love him? Will he fit the system? So there are winners and losers for this week, which leads us nicely onto our look ahead to the Packers. But before we do that, as many of you know who are returning listeners and viewers, thank you very much. We partner with the Robbing Cancer Trust. They are the UK's premier germ cell cancer charity, which is testicular and ovarian cancer. Now, for anyone based in the UK, they do multiple fundraising and awareness campaigns. They've got the Pants for Cancer campaign coming up, which is a 7 or 14 mile walk or jog, whatever you pick, and that is in Clacton-on-Sea on the 21st of September from 10 till 4. And to go along with that, Toby is still doing his big ballsy run. I've updated this now. So he's now raised £18,258. He's a bit off the target, but any money raised is fantastic. And he has run 663.3 kilometers since he started this. I'm going to find out what distance that is, because I'm pretty sure that's probably the length of the UK, definitely. And if you'd like to support them, by all means, you can go onto their merch shop and you can get a lovely t-shirt or anything just to help raise funds and awareness for the Robbing Cancer Trust and testicular ovarian cancer. Big shout out to Robbing Cancer Trust. I'm very proud to support them. Let's look ahead. Green Bay Packers, before we get on to all the comments and our Discord member musings. Green Bay Packers, joint practice and a game. What are you expecting, Mitch?
Highly competitive approach to the joint practice, and I think our starters will really, really get a lot out of this week. Players like Leonard Williams, Tank Lawrence, players that haven't had an awful lot of game time or any game time, probably won't get any game time on week 3, but they'll get an awful lot of competitive snaps in camp, and it will get feisty, and that is what you want. I think at this point it's probably far more productive to get the drills done in camp against someone that you're not holding back from repeatedly. So I'm expecting exactly that. A really productive, highly competitive week. And at the end of that week, we'll see the starters, not the starters, we'll see the second stringers get the majority of the game on Saturday night.
I'd like to see, like you said, I think the joint practice will be the opportunity for the starters to really start getting some valuable reps away from a game scenario. I'd like to see the second stringers have the first half, all the first half. And in that second half of the game, I would like to see everyone that is on the bubble or is trying to play for a contract elsewhere get a crack of the whip. I just love to see like your Jacardia Wrights, your MVS. I'd love to see him actually play a game, because I think his position as a wide receiver in this core it's looking a little bit shaky right now. That's what I'd love to see. I'm not bothered, like we said it before. I think your was it your summation of preseason? Meh, not bothered.
I love the preseason. I love the preseason. I just don't like the little players that are on the cusp of the 90 dropping out. A new player comes in from his shelf stocking position at Walmart that he's been doing for 4 months since the draft or whatever. That part of it, don't care. They so rarely become anything of note. Preseason itself, I absolutely love, because I really love to see the UDFAs trying to chase their dream and make a roster. I absolutely love it. So, yeah, just wanted to.
It's a scenario that we know all too well. I mean, you've got all these UDFAs and these people on the bubble just chasing their wildest dreams, and I think that's why I want to see them in that second half, just to see if we can unearth a gem. If we can put a D-line or edge rushers out there that may be on the bubble who can really, really go for it and put their hand up and really start pushing these people. But yeah, I'm not bothered about the result. I'm bothered about players that play themselves into the 53 more than anything. I just don't want any of our starters to get injured, because we do that whole Madden. Oh, it's your third preseason. They get 3/4 of the game. No. Keep them away, and let's just make sure we get a good core of backups, and that'll be the main thing. And to be honest, based on how our preseason's gone, I think anyone that gets cut will be seen as a good core of backups for any other team in the NFL. So, with that, shall we get to our Discord member musings and your comments, of which there have been a heck of a lot. Yes. Before I get to that, I just want to say thanks to everyone for joining in. If you can do us a massive favor, if you can like this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, it really helps us reach more and more. Every time we do one of these pods, we see new people coming in and joining us, and we love seeing you guys in the comments and even the Discord. Mitch just put that link in there loads. You can come and join us whenever, and we just keep chatting Seahawks. Now the season is literally, it's there, it's right there, I can taste it. So you guys come in, join us, and it really means the world to us. And the more 12s we reach, the more insight we get, and the more of you guys we can get to come on the pod during the season as well. But obviously we are the UK Seahawkers official podcast. Very proud of it. We're card carrying members, and you can be a card carrying member too for as little as £12 a year, or if you're a family of 4, it's £20 in the same address. If you are overseas, it's £5 per postage for all the goodies you're going to get. You can send your payment via PayPal to ukhawksfans12@hotmail.com and use a friends and family option, because it's not a business. And with that, you get access to social events, 10% off at the Pro Shop. You are eligible for game day field passes, access to members-only competitions, and an annual selection of goodies, patches, and more, like these displayed on Mitch's beautiful box. This year, we got 2 coasters. We got a 21st year anniversary patch. We got a customary wristband as well, which I wear every single day. It's a nice conversation starter. And then you can join us and these fantastic people, which is some of the UK Seahawkers in Glasgow. We'll let you know where the next meeting is and when we have our game meet up as well. But yeah, there we go. Now, shall we get on to Discord member musings? It's been a while. I've had to put it up there now. I've got to put it up. So we ask our Discord for questions. Sometimes we don't ask, they just put them in there. We like to answer them as much as possible. So here we go. Crafty Carver. This follows on from a conversation where he wanted us to do a what if, and I said, unfortunately, the Seahawkers pod do it. He thinks we're going to keep at least 6 receivers this year, barring a trade. We know JSN, Cup, and Horton are locks. He thinks Bobo is 2 at this point, and Derek Young needs to be as well. your boy Mitch. Despite his lack of playing time, I don't see us cutting MVS. The question now is, can we stash both the White Bros, Cody and Ricky, on the practice squad? Going to be some tough cuts this year, which I agree with. I still don't know about MVS. He's got the connection with Kubiak, but we haven't seen him in games in the preseason. We haven't seen him do anything, and they keep keeping him out of games because he's a veteran. But when you're looking at a field stretcher, you've got Horton that can do that. You've got Derek Young that's able to do that as well.
Arroyo.
So why? Yeah, Arroyo as well. So why do you need an MVS?
Yep.
Do you agree, Mitch?
Agree. Completely agree.
That's where we are there. And then we had a little spate of this. MSD suggested in his after-game pod that he thinks Hawks don't extend K9, especially looking at the production of all the RBs. We know K9 can break something crazy, but do you think the cost would be worth it? And then Ben's come in, UK 12th man. However, if K9 gets the blocking of last night and stays healthy, he's going to have an unreal season. I hope so, because I drafted him in fantasy. Could for sure. Not sure what that will mean. I'm not sure that will mean they keep him. And of course, but he's going to look really good potentially. And I agree. Like we've commented on the O-line and what they've done to open up holes, but the best ability is availability, isn't it, Mitch? We've said this countless times. And K9 seems to get these injuries that then mean that Charbonnet can come in and shine. And Charbonnet has proved that he can be an RB1 in this system. And he'd be an RB1 in a lot of systems around the NFL.
I think he is a great fit for this scheme. It's a better fit than K9. However, I think you'll get a lot more out of K9 than you got out of him in the last 2 seasons if he's fit and available and he's behind a functioning O-line. So we're looking at what we've had from K9 over the last couple of years. I think what you're going to get out of him this year is going to look very different. But touch words, we'll have a healthy running back room and a better functioning O-line. And it gives us a nice headache.
I think the question is, because it's a contract year for him this year, isn't it, K9? If you keep him and he has a stellar year, is he going to be looking for that top RB money? And do you need him and have to pay him that to be effective in our run game?
I think John Schneider definitely lets him explore free agency. We just have a look at what the market are offering him. It'll be very similar, actually, to the market that Shaquille Griffin had. Is it Shaquille? Not Shaquille. Is it Shaquille Griffin that left us for the Jags?
Yeah.
So when he left for the Jags, I think we fully intended to bring him back, but the money that was on offer to him outstripped what we were willing to pay. We may well see offers for K9 that are much higher value than we will be willing to pay for an injury-stricken RB1/RB2. So I think we let him explore. If that money that he's being offered by the league is reasonable, maybe we keep. Otherwise, he goes and we get a pick. So.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where we need to start talking to him early, and if we can't reach an agreement in principle to start with, then he goes straight on the trade block and we tout him around. That's the way I feel, because I mean, you look at the running backs, as we said earlier, that are really showing out in preseason. Is it essential we keep K9?
Yeah, Herbicide's just mentioned about offering K9 to the
Cowboys.
To the Cowboys, they've needed a running back for what seems like 10 years.
Yeah, and then he can go behind the O-line, all with the same name. And then Gary, do you think Sundell has earned a starting centre role? He's been impressed. So yeah, we said this earlier. Kane, I think Sundell is the starting centre. I think the starting O-line that we saw, obviously with the addition of Charles Cross at the start of this game against the Chiefs, will be the starting O-line for us. And then we have more. So Jay has put, after such a great performance against KC, are you still trying to manage your expectations for this season, or as we say in the States, are you going to drink the Kool-Aid?
I'm drinking that Kool-Aid.
Oh, mate, no. As a typical skeptical Brit, I am 100%. I sit there and I'm quietly confident, but I don't want to shout it from the rooftops till like mid-season. Because pre-season is a completely different beast to the regular season. We could look at this pre-season and go, this looks absolutely amazing. We're going to get to the playoffs. We're going to get to the NFC Championship game. But then everyone else starts putting in their starters and it doesn't look as good.
Yeah.
So where this run game looks fantastic at the moment, who's to say the first game against the 49ers, who we know from what George Kittle said in the press conference are already watching film on us, what's to say that they don't nullify it? Because the Kubiak offense and the Shanahan offense are cousins. So if one person is going to know how to combat it, it's going to be Kyle Shanahan at the 49ers. So I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid just yet. I'm just rolling it around in the glass, swilling it, having a little sniff every now and again, a taster. But give it till mid-season, and then he's gone. And to Michigan man Mitch, or Michigan, as we decided it was going to be before the pod. Do you think Morris has won himself a spot on the roster to start this season?
I do. But the key thing there is the start of the season. I still don't think he's done enough to be safe from being the obvious cut when Riley Mills.
Yeah. And then he's come. My answer. I'm still trying to manage expectations. That's a good lad. There you go. Listening to a British podcast is rubbing off on you. But I'm more excited about this Seahawks team than I've been in a long time. I think Morris is on the day one 53-man roster. Yeah, agree. But Riley Mills is going to come back in. The coaches love him. They drafted him for a reason. And I think Morris might get cut for him unless Morris in a rotation shows out massively this year. And then finally, we've got Bryce from the Hawks on Rundown. How do you think Seattle handles the roster decision between the number of backs to keep, including Oots, in that conversation versus the number of wide receivers? And could we less O-line kept to help boost those numbers? Could we keep less O-line to boost the number of wide receivers and running backs? I think we go 5 wide receivers, 4 running backs, and we still keep Oots.
That's exactly where I am.
Yeah, essentially 5-5, and then you look at the tight ends that we're going to keep as well. That's plenty of ammunition and weapons. So that was our Discord member musings. Thank you everyone who sent me a question, especially those who sent me a question at 5 minutes just before we went live, because there was some frantic copying and pasting in there. But we really appreciate them. Now I have starred 18 of your comments. So we'll get through these just before we finish. Jonas did come back with a comment on Hendrickson. The price for Hendrickson, second in a player, is too much for him. Hendrickson has been a beast the last seasons, but can he last at 30 years old? If you get a good season and he falls off with a $30 million contract, valid points, very valid points. But I mean, it's not like we are against taking a swing on top talent. Look at Jamal Adams. You know, we gave away 2 firsts for Jamal. And the first season he was here, fantastic. Injuries happened and we jettisoned him. And they say on the Seahawkers pod, you know, the cap's magic. You can do anything with it. So we could load it with incentives, signing bonuses, anything to try and make his cap hit lessen. Well, that's one. And then Gary, after my comment on Bosa and Hendrickson, but we have Cross and Lucas to handle Bosa and Hendrickson. Hopefully we do. Lucas is back fit, but we don't know if that knee's still going to hold up. And Cross is fantastic regardless. And a nice little one here from Ben, UK 12 man. Woo, big congrats. GB women's flag team ended up 5th at the World Games, looking good on the road to the Olympics. Congratulations to the GB women's flag football team. See, American football isn't dead in the UK. Right, so what else we got? Gary, the improvement in the O-line has been very noticeable. Coaching works. 100% it does. And then Wasted Talent. Thank you very much for joining us, Wasted Talent. I've not seen you in here before. So he lives close to Seattle, and he's been a diehard fan since their expansion year in 1976. We won't ask you how old you are, don't worry. And I know the Seahawks about as well as anyone. There you go, Mitch. That could be someone you can have on your quiz team when we eventually get around to it.
Sure, yeah. I'll go knocking on Wasted Talent's door.
And then Jay, does Haynes even make the 53-man roster now?
Yeah, but it's a lot less obvious now than it was before. Bryce Cabell obviously has a good
tackle and guard. And then you've got Lamea as well. But then we haven't really seen Lamea do much. So yeah, that is TBD. I think after the Packers game, if we see more of him, then we can make that decision. Another good one from Wasted Talent. The biggest concern for the team right now is linebacker depth behind Knight. Yeah.
Well, as long as 100%. Knight's injured, that's depth in front of him.
Mm-hmm. Well, we did. I think it was Dan Viens from Seahawks Forever put a nice tweet up saying that when he was reviewing game tape, he saw Emanwari playing at will linebacker. Now, whether that's by design or by necessity, because there's no one else there, we don't know. But unless that's where they're going, we don't need that many inside linebackers because our safeties are going to end up playing that position as well. Could be a shout.
Yeah, I could see that.
Hawks Court doesn't even think that Hankins is getting in the 53. Depending on his injury, could get cut, injury designation. Here we go. The biggest weaknesses he's identified from Wasted Talent is punt and kickoff coverage. Number 85, wide receiver Broden is not cutting it as a gunner. And we were saying that Broden actually did all right in the receiving game, but I think, gunner again. It's something that we're going to be looking at because I don't think we've got anyone with that electric speed to be that gunner that can really cause people problems. UK 12 man back in. When we talked about the fitness differences between American football and rugby, the type of fitness and mental state needed between rugby, association football, and American football are polar opposites. He agrees with me. Oh, thanks. That's the first. What Bobo has to do is really tough in a different way. Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna keep that one close to my heart. You never agree with me. Jonas, is Bobo too valuable as a special teamer? I see him and Bell as the core of that unit. Halani as a returner as well. Agree. I think we agree. Bobo isn't going anywhere. He's going to be on this. Jay has put on here as well. Woolen's coverage on the crossing route was really good. I think he forced Minshew to throw it wide for the interception. And this is that anyone that's listened to us long enough knows that I've said for a while I'm over the Tariq Woolen experiment. But I will admit when I'm wrong and say that he does have some points to his game where he can just erase a wide receiver by just pursuing them and sticking to him like glue because of his pure athleticism and speed. But yeah, one good play in pre-season. And I've seen we've gotten 12 more comments after I'm trying to read these. Are you still thinking they'll keep 4 running backs and they'll also be keeping Oots? I'm on the fence. Don't be on the fence, Jay. We're telling you that's what's going to happen. 4 running backs, Oots, and 5 wide receivers. You can bookmark this right here. 1 hour and 9 minutes into our podcast. Herbicide, I would have never guessed Oots being the weapon he is. I don't think anyone anticipates that from a fullback, but then you listen to how Kubiak talks about him, saying he was impressed with how hard of a player he was and his soft hands. I think that was a design all along. It was a Seattle version of Kyle Juszczyk. Here we go, Mitch. Running backs. I'll let you have this one. So I'll read it. You can comment. Martinez is practice squad or claimed. The real gem is Wright. That player has all the intangibles, and the other teams know it. They can't expose him. And there's more on him there. Wright has the size and burst. You can't hide his film. they have to keep him.
Yeah, I love Jacardia Wright. I agree that he's got all of the measurables and the stylistic kind of traits and things that make for a really, really good running back in this league. He'll be a little bit unpolished, but he could land on any roster in the NFL as running back 3, in my opinion. And we don't need a running back 3. So that's why I think he gets waived. That would be why he gets picked up. The saving grace, I guess, is that we have enough depth. We have players that will make it onto the practice squad that can give us that running back 4, running back 5 kind of cover. So he may not be playing for us in the NFL next year or this season even. But he'll be playing for someone, and I'll enjoy watching him. He gives me Chris Carson vibes, being able to play physically, but also being a threat, receiving it in space as well.
Contact balance was fantastic as well for him to ride that tackle.
Contact balance, falling forwards as well, that kind of every yard matters mentality and ball security. He's giving me Chris Carson in a big way.
And the wasted talent has even gone as far as to dangle Walker as a trade bait to keep Wright. That's how high he is on him.
I don't hate that.
Shout. No, we've said it, and I think this is going to be an ongoing narrative on the pod. Is Walker going to be a Seahawk this season? Is he going to be trade bait for anyone? And if he is, then, thank you very much. You've had some highlight plays, but, we've not seen you consistently. Jonas, another big win. 68,000 plus in Lumen for a preseason game. Wow. That goes to show when you look at the last couple of seasons, preseason, you've seen so many empty seats. And now those seats are full. I think that shows the belief that 12's now having this team under Mike McDonald. And that's so nice to see. But then, from being on a high, Chris comes in and said, "Oh, we're all feeling good now, but what happens if the Seahawks just get destroyed by 49ers week 1? Cheers, Chris." Do you see it happening, Mitch?
Yeah, it could happen, but I don't think it's likely. There's a lot of injuries floating around for the Niners. I don't think they're going to hit the ground running particularly quickly this season because of the gaps they've got at key positions. So yes, it's a possibility. No, it's not likely for me. And to answer Chris's question, what happens if that happens? I don't think that rocks us too much. It's that first game. Anything can happen. It's not going to burn your season losing your first game. Mm-hmm. Be a shame though, because I hate them.
Yeah. 100%. And then the last one, I know you just responded to this in the comments. Should we pay Reek? He's going to want 30 mil. Go on, Mitch. Say your piece.
It's not worth 30 mil. If someone wants to pay 30 mil, let's just take the comp pick and go take another corner in the draft with the late third. Someone's paying him 30 mil. We'll get a comp third.
Yeah. I wouldn't pay him that much. I'd depend on how the season goes. If he shows that he really can play in the system and his tight coverage is better, I think we'll extend him. He's not getting 30 mil. If he asks for that, and that's where that's his line in the sand, I think they'll just let him walk. I really do. You guys are all over these comments. Just a quick bit from Hawk Skull. Apparently, Peely hobbled off during practice. Might miss 3 to 4 weeks. Coming down, Quentin Bohanna.
Well, 3 to 4 weeks from now is only 2 game weeks because you've got the bye. You'd miss a week of preseason, then the bye, and then regular season week 1, 2. It's not.
And then you've got Jaron Reed all filling at nose, and if in a pinch, like Byron Murphy will go there as well.
Or Bohanna. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, I think that is that. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Thanks so much for keeping us company. Mitch and without you guys, Mitch and I just be talking to ourselves on YouTube. And that'll look a bit weird.
Panic over.
Oh, it's Peely, not Peely. Thank you. Don't scare us like that. Yeah, thank God. But again, I just want to thank everyone. Again, if you have tuned in, it's your first time tuning in, by all means, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on this. You feel free to share our channel with your friends. We're always looking for new members of the Discord, of anyone who wants to come on the pod and just be a part of what we're doing next season. We really appreciate everyone who puts their hand up and wants to come on and join us, because you guys really make it for us. With that in mind, Mitch, I think we're done.
I think we're done.
I've really enjoyed this, really enjoyed it. I can't wait for
Yeah.
the Green Bay game. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. If you guys want to join us in the Discord, we will be doing a live watch party for the Green Bay game, and we can just talk either on voice, or if you're working and can't do that, by all means, you can type in the chat, and we love having you guys in there. But for me, I'm going to point this way, because on YouTube it seems to point the wrong way. From Mitch, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone. And as always, we end on a Go Hawks. Are you ready, Rich? Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.